السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا وسهلا بحضراتكم جميعا. رجاء الإخوة والأخوات جميعا يأتوا إلى ساحة المسجد حتى تبدأ المحاضرات إن شاء الله تبارك وتعالى. جزاكم الله خيرا. سنبدأ بعد عدة دقائق إن شاء الله.
Assalamu alaikum. Everybody, every table, please seize what you are doing and come join here. Our guests also, you are invited to come this way so we can make short presentation about wellness and knowledge and prevention. So please join here. Sisters to my right, brothers to my left, please join. We should be starting in a few minutes. Please join us here in the masjid. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. My name, I'm Dr. Badri Senior, because I have few juniors in the same family. So my background is, I'm started here from day one, inshallah, alhamdulillah, and continue to be part of this institute and this masjid. My background, I have an MD, and I joined, my background in internal medicine. In 2008, I become certified in addiction medicine because I felt at that time that we have a major epidemic coming, and I started two centers at that time in two big hospitals, and I had that for many years until I stopped around 2018-19. I'm still doing that as an outpatient. Addiction is my second passion next to internal medicine. Addiction comes in different forms, and the lightest one is addiction to coffee. The worst one is addiction to heroin and drugs. I treat cases from a scope from addiction to cigarette, alcohol, drugs, and I don't treat addiction to coffee because I'm one of the addicts too. Addiction is an epidemic nowadays, and it claims that every year almost 100,000 young people dies from drug overdose, only from heroin and fentanyl. So we should be aware. My message today for you as parents, I want to tell you something about from treating hundreds and thousands of patients with drug problem. I found that most of those people who fall into addiction and drug habit and dependency, they have some special trait in personality that put them at risk for this condition. As parents, I would like everybody to pay attention to his children ahead of time. The challenges out there are tremendous. So you need to plan ahead and need to be knowledge. As we said in our flyer, knowledge and prevention and wellness all comes together. If you don't know what to look for, you come ask me. If you need help, you come also still ask for it. I'm also good in internal medicine. I have 30 years plus experience and almost 15 years in addiction medicine. Quick background, the leading cause of death in America remain heart disease. Number 2, cancer. Number 3 comes COVID. COVID claims at least 500,000 COVID only. There's package of other diseases that may increase, but in 2020, almost 400,000 death. Also in 21, also almost 400,000 death. The prevention of COVID is an example that tested our community and our healthcare system and shaked it real hard and shaked the entire system and came up with a conclusion that we have to go back and remember the Prophet ﷺ said, إذا أتى الطاعون على قرية فلا تدخلوها ولا تخرجوا منها. And when the government ordered stay home, that was part of the prevention to prevent the spread of COVID. Alhamdulillah, recently in September, the government declared that we are COVID-free. However, we still have the small COVID, still claiming between 200 to 300, up to 500 in some state daily death in the whole United States. So working hard to try to also happen nowadays, the mix between RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, and symptoms with COVID nowadays is highly become, especially in children. Having said that, a small background, would like to start from the right in our table. Brother Nick will present quick. مقدم ايش؟ Standing.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Dr. Nick. I'm a Penn State graduate and Rutgers Doctor of Physical Therapy. I want to thank everybody for the opportunity to talk and to be here. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for God, so first and foremost. What I specialize is blood flow. So the more blood flow and circulation we get to any condition, the body is self-healing and self-repairing. If you don't believe it, cut yourself and you will see the self-repair and self-healing mechanism of your body. So being Western trained and raised, I'm from the East, and I realized through blood flow, through cupping, through scraping, through gua sha, through massage, through physical therapy, the body can fix itself. So as a physical therapist, I believe in walking, I believe in yoga, I believe in God. You have to help me help you. So when we prescribe or recommend certain things, you have to do it. We can help you along the way, whether we prescribe medicine, stretching, water, nutrition, it's up to you. As a father of 3, I prescribe certain things to my children. They may or may not listen. So we do our best to empower our clients, our community, our patients, each other to get help and get treatment. On Dr. Badri's note, a lot of my friends and family are buried due to drug addiction, due to bad choices. I am a recovering drug and alcoholic. So that is a very touchy topic to our communities, to others. I realize what pills and certain choices may or may not do to an individual. So again, I discovered cupping really through Dr. Badri Jr. He shared with me that it was mentioned in the Quran, and once he said that to me, my head exploded. And it could be a potential, shall we say, cure to many, many diseases. Most parts of the world do not have doctors, do not have medicine, and do not have access to these things. So the simplicity of, I guess what we call in our community hijama, or cupping, Now you're seeing Michael Phelps, LeBron James, Steph Curry. The cool kids are now doing this type of treatment. And once the cool kids are doing it, we should all do it. It's just that simple. So I really try to do prevention and wellness before the Ferrari is broken. So take care of your body and treat your body as a Ferrari, because it's more than that, we know that. And try to get some type of hijama, cupping therapy. I'm not certified in hijama. That is my next passion and vision, to do it for the right reasons with faith-based and religion-based component. So anybody touching your body should be a licensed chiropractor, doctor, physical therapist, professional. So that's kind of the way you can get this treatment. Okay, so yeah, basically with Muscle Fix Mobile, we travel to you, 365, 24/7. So thanks again for inviting me. It's an honor and pleasure to be here.
We are next, Ahmed Badri, Jr., Dr. Badri.
How much time we have? Like an hour? Is that enough? No. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Ahmed Badri, Dr. Badri, one of multiple Dr. Badris here today, so it's going to get confusing. But my specialty, well, I'll start, I guess, from when I was born. No, my background training is orthopedic surgery. I trained at Robert Wood Johnson, Barnabas, and then went to NYU for specialty in arthroscopic surgery for the shoulder, hip, and knee. So typically when people say, oh my God, he's a surgeon, they run away because nobody wants surgery. But what people don't realize is that most patients that I see actually don't need surgery. So when it comes down to it, to follow Dr. Nick's lecture, we work very closely with physical therapists, because physical therapy, or just activity in general, exercising, diet, nutrition, all that stuff is very important in keeping you healthy. So I treat patients as young as 4 years old to over 100 years old. I treat athletes who play professionally, college, high school, all kinds of levels. And what I've seen is that even athletes at the level of college who are trying to get into the NFL, that I used to have to examine to see if they were, good enough, like cattle. Even these people who have arthritis, torn ligaments, et cetera, still can function at 100% because they were so strong. So that's how important the concept of exercising is. Unfortunately, as like an Eastern diet and culture, we don't really exercise in the Middle East, things like that. The newer generation now is starting to do that. But the importance of that is huge, because that will definitely prolong your life and your health, and you live happier. So typically when I see patients, it's, okay, are you just out of shape? Maybe a little overweight, which is, a little everybody. So can you function to a level where this pain that you're coming to see me for, can it get better if we altered that and we became more physically active, we altered our diet, nutrition, et cetera, et cetera? Most people, they do that, they do actually feel better. So then it comes down to, okay, is it a mechanical problem? Is something physically detached to where it's supposed to be, a tendon, a ligament, et cetera? And if it is it a problem because you're not getting good blood supply? Or is it something where now you detached it, there's scar tissue, and you can't function? So that's typically algorithm argo. If it's a problem with blood supply, well, I can help you increase that blood supply. I typically always start with the exercise, et cetera, et cetera. But the next step would be, okay, maybe if we need to increase that blood supply, maybe we need some platelets, we need some stem cells, we need something to give that body a boost to heal, because your body sometimes, it just doesn't heal like it wants to, it's supposed to. So that extra boost sometimes could solve the problem. So I have a lot of patients, again, although I'm a surgeon, I don't jump right to surgery, there's other options that you could do. So this is a great option, stem cells, PRP, that people do really well with. Now, finally, you have a mechanical problem, something's detached. Can you function with that problem? If you have a tear in your shoulder, can you still function? You know, a lot of the women here are not throwing, unless they're throwing shahatas at people. They're not really throwing a lot overhead. But if you stop throwing things, is your shoulder going to get better? So stop throwing shahatas at your kids. But then, if that's the case, you want to continue to throw shahatas at your kids, then you're going to need something surgically done to reattach that torn ligament. So it's a very, very methodical, step-by-step algorithm that I use, and a lot of the providers I work. So just because you're going to see a surgeon doesn't mean I usually recommend surgery. That's usually a last in line. But if I was going to give you anything to take home with, is the physical activity, the exercising, the diet. That's what's going to make you feel better, and that's what's going to give you that prolonged happiness in life. All right. And then the next speaker is actually my brother, who is the foot and ankle specialist in our practice. The name of our practice is called One Oak Medical. We have a booth out there to the right. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to come up and ask. Thank you.
All right. Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Humam Bedri. I'm the foot and ankle specialist in our group. I specialize in reconstructive surgery, so patients that have failed surgery and they come to me for more surgery, we certainly go ahead and apply more surgery if necessary. My focus is realignment surgery. So I look at patients' biomechanics, I watch patients walk, I look at all the angles of the body and see what kind of abnormalities that they're going to manifest in the future. So if I see patients have a very flat foot and their foot has been neglected for many years, so I already know kind of the sequela or the kind of nature of the future problems that are going to arise in that patient. So I can almost predict certain injuries. If a certain impact were to occur or they were to apply their body in a certain way, then certain tears would start to propagate and certain deformities will start to manifest more and become arthritic conditions. And so, I treat the full spectrum of patients, so I evaluate patients from the biomechanical standpoint, so I evaluate, my specialty is flat foot surgery, so I do a lot of pediatric and adult flat foot. Why? Because I like to respect the rules of biomechanics, and I like to realign patients to as close as normal as possible, because the foot and ankle is the main I would say the organ of your body that helps you propel forward, that helps you mobilize, that engages the rest of your mechanics of your knee, the hip, the shoulder, the back. And so if there is some tension or there is some deformity that's not addressed immediately, it's going to essentially lead to a catastrophe of other biomechanical instabilities that will lead the patient down a road of multiple surgeries, replacing the hip, replacing the knee, replacing the ankle eventually. So a lot of the things that we do and we talk about in prevention for patients is, maintaining stability, balance on the foot, making sure that you could stand on one foot for more than 10 seconds. And we'll do an exercise together maybe later on, since we're all barefoot, and we'll see who could stand for 10 seconds without feeling that they're going to fall. So that's one way of assessing a patient. As a matter of fact, there's some new data that shows us that the 10-year survivalship of a patient can be reduced significantly if they're unable to balance on one foot for more than 10 seconds. And this is more applied to geriatric patients, the patients that we see in the nursing homes. They tend to start to fall, especially if they have an ankle instability that's left untreated. Their body cannot activate in the correct manner so that they can stop their fall. So they end up falling, breaking a wrist, damaging their head. If they're on, blood thinners, they end up getting a stroke or some type of bleed inside of their brain. So essentially, we focus heavily on evaluating and managing the biomechanics of this patient to make sure they have the stability they need and they have the alignment in the best possible way. If a patient's foot is very flat and they go and they get a knee replacement, well, that knee replacement is not going to feel good and it's going to fail over a very short period of time because the alignment is not correct. So it's like your tires in a car. You can get brand new tires and brakes, but if your alignment is not addressed or the brake pad is not correctly placed, you're going to melt that brake pad very quickly and you're not going to get the longevity out of it. Which brings me to my other, interest. I have a very strong interest in longevity. And so what I did was we developed a brand for vitamins where we enhance patients' vitamins by improving, their kind of the instabilities in their own elements in their body. So let's say patient is deficient in vitamin C. And we look at a patient, they keep bleeding in their gums or they keep bleeding. So we try to substitute these deficiencies. So essentially, I have a real interest in, vitamins and how we can improve the body through collagen, through peptides, through other things. So essentially, that's another area of interest that I have. But today I wanted to focus more on prevention using stretching. I want to see how everybody can balance on one foot. So maybe that's something that we can all exercise today and see if we need to do a little extra work to keep our balance so that maybe in this winter we don't end up falling and hurting ourselves and causing more damage to what we already have in our own bodies. All right? So I'd like to thank you guys for having me here, and if there's anything I can be of service to you guys, I'm here in the booth, so I'm here to offer free service to you guys and give you, an assessment if needed. All right? Thank you very much.
دكتورة نجلاء دكتور نجلاء
الميكروفون قدمها في الميكروفون قدمها في الميكروفون
تفضل
لا واقفة وجالسة نفس الطول. السلام عليكم. دكتورة نجلاء رزق. I'm a gynecologist. You still can't hear me? My kids tell me I'm very loud. Okay. So I am Egyptian born and Jersey everything else. So I know, sweetie. So I am a ex-Rutgers professor from New Jersey Medical School. I just left them and I'm opening a new practice in Clifton, New Jersey. I do not do any obstetrics anymore. I don't treat women who are currently pregnant, but I do everything else for women. So my goal in my practice is to remind everyone that the entire community revolves around the women in the community. The woman is the center of the house. Sorry. You are the center of everything else, but we are the center of the house, the center of the family, because the kids all come to mama in the end. Baba comes to mama in the end. Everybody goes to mama in the end, and if mama doesn't feel good, nobody feels good. So, mama has to be taken care of. Mama, you can't do anything for anyone until you take care of yourself. Okay? Deal? That starts here. So my profession in my office is not gynecology, it's gynecology, which is a little psychiatry, a little counseling, little gynecology, a little of everything. Most women do not spend the majority of their life pregnant. That's why I don't do that part. Somebody else can do that part. I treat patients from birth because little baby girls tend to have some gynecologic problems sometimes, all the way to death because women are alive until they're not. And women, as long as they're alive, have something that has to be taken care of, whether it's their emotional health, their mental health, or their physical health. All of that is part of gynecology. We cannot forget to take care of ourselves because we always put everyone else first, but we can't take care of anyone until we take care of ourselves. And we can't do that until we have your support reminding us that we have to do that. So please, help us take care of ourselves so we can take care of you and the rest of the community. Jazakallah khair.
Our next speaker, we are going the other way now and happen to be another Dr. Badri Jr. She is a spine and pain man, and you'll do it yourself. Go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. My name is Malaka Badri. I am the fourth physician, Badri, alhamdulillah. I actually wanted to be the first physician in the family, and then my brothers followed along, so it's not surprising. So I actually did my training in physical medicine and rehab. Most people don't know what that is. It actually is a specialty based on function. I treat function. I treat patients with disabilities. And so disabilities can range from brain injury, spinal cord injury, pain, and a lot of different very small populations of people. I decided to focus in on pain because I felt like I can help the most people through pain, and I did a fellowship in training in interventional pain management and spine procedures. So I learned those more advanced spine procedures that are needed for some patients. But I like to treat patients from A to Z, holistically and completely, and we go from conservative all the way to more invasive. And of course we work with surgeons if we need to, but we do a variety of things from my practice that inshallah I'll be starting soon. So I'd love to see some new faces and talk to a lot of you guys and and hear what everybody has to complain about. I'm sure everybody has a pain somewhere, and I'm sure I can try to figure out where it's coming from. And if not, try to treat it, and that's more important. I just wanted to throw a quick reminder in there that a lot of times pain comes from using areas of our body that are not prepared to be used in a certain manner. For example, when we go to lift something that's really heavy, we tend to put all of our back into it, and a lot of time our backs are not actually meant to carry those strong things. We're supposed to use our muscles. But a lot of times, most of us have very weak core strength, and so we go and we lift something heavy, and we do it with our back, and we don't really brace our core when we do that, and so we end up injuring our spine. And so you find a lot of patients that carry a lot of heavy things have a lot of degenerative disc disease and a lot of problems with their spine. And so a lot of that I like to talk to with patients is how they can really focus in on that core strength. And something we can all do while we're just sitting here is just hold those core muscles, those abdominal muscles really tight for 10 seconds. Everybody do it with me. Deep breath in, hold them really tight, 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 and then let it go. That's an isometric contraction of your core muscles. That's something you can easily do just like throughout the day. Gives you a really good exercise that you can do to strengthen your back. Your back needs it. Your back is only held up by some small muscles, some big muscles, but a lot more muscles in the front, and they kind of support the back. So if we can get those core muscles stronger, we can help the back from preventing injuries when we go to lift something heavy. So, assalamu alaikum, and I'd like to see everybody later on at my booth if we have time.
We started and we skipped some important piece. We would like to thank Brother Muhammad who started this concept and organized this. Come forward, Brother Muhammad. Come. No, he's a very humble person. Next, after Muhammad, little speech, Brother Uthman, Dr. Uthman. Just thanks for everything.
Assalamu alaikum for everyone. So I don't have anything. It's not, we are here to complete each other because here it's, mashallah, the biggest place. We need also to be like helpful. Anyone who has like expertise, we can work together to empower our community. So thank you for everyone. Thank you for the management here, and thank you Dr. Badri, and thank you Imam. Thank you for ladies, gentlemen. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Dr. Uthman, your statement about wellness of... What? Yeah, he's going to come. We are going this way.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Dr. Uthman Siddiqui. I'm originally from Morocco, raised there. I came here as a student, and alhamdulillah, I went to school, finished my career. I was actually a university professor for 6 years. I taught in Montclair State University. And then I decided to switch the career, and I went to NYU to finish my DDS. I'm going to be brief on something. In our culture, and I see that a lot, and I don't like to say that, I see a lot of patients that really, their oral health is neglected. They don't care about it, and they don't see the serious side effects of your oral health. If you go to any MD, I'm sure they will agree with me, one of the things they check is your mouth. The mouth could be the first indication of a lot of diseases. We're talking about cardiovascular diseases. We're talking about Alzheimer's. We're talking about a lot of things. If your gums are not healthy, forget about caries. we talk about just the gums. If the gums are not healthy, that can cause you so many diseases that could be serious and can even cause death. One of the other things I want to mention, of course, we have our booth there in the office in Bloomfield, New Jersey. We do all kind of surgeries from wisdoms, implants, cosmetics, anything you name it. But just to mention one thing is, if you don't floss, it's like you don't brush. A lot of people, they brush, they think that they are cleaning their teeth, but if they're not flossing, it's like you are pouring water in sand if you don't floss. And that's one of the biggest problems we see. The other thing is in our culture with the kids. I see a lot of kids from our backgrounds, and fortunately, it's a disaster. In our culture, we tend to give candies here. By the way, the person that invented candies is a dentist. You wonder, okay? And give candies is like you're giving a reward. Actually, besides the coloring, besides the yellow 5, the red 40, all the chemicals in the candy, the high sugar, it's like you're destroying your kid slowly. You're not giving him a reward. And a lot of parents, they think their kids are brushing their teeth. They're not. They still just play in the bathroom, and they come, and then you end up suffering, waking up at 3 a.m. with a toothache, and I'm sure you guys been through that. Anyhow, if you have any questions, you're welcome to come see me in the booth, and we'll talk more about that. And I wish and I hope that this will be every year, because the community will be growing, and we are at your service, and I'm glad this to serve the community. Jazakumullah khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Shukran, Akhi Uthman. I noticed that the juicing station took a lot of attention, so I would like to invite Samir to tell us about his 3 colored juices. He's the shoes man.
I didn't prepare anything to talk about, but no. So I was studying one time. I'm a biology student, and then one time I was studying about how the food that we eat affect the gene expression in our bodies. So when I read that, I stopped for a second, and I was like, how is that even possible? And another thing I want to talk about is our culture. The food in our culture is just highly meat, it's just like very high meat, high carbohydrates. We don't eat so much fruits. We don't eat so much vegetables, and it's like very good for the body. It has so much minerals and so much all the good stuff that we're missing in our culture. So I just want to say that we should eat more vegetables, eat more fruits. And also I want to mention that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, just want to make sure that he said the stomach is the house of every disease, and we should take care of everything we put in our bodies, because it affects not only our health, it affects also our mental health, as everyone knows, and as doctors can approve that. Thank you.
Dr. Bedri.
Sister Anwar. So now we spoke about health and juice, now dietitian, quick synapse about dietitian and diet.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Anwar. I'm a graduate of Montclair State University with a Bachelor's of Science. I'm the same as the other brother that changed his career. I was doing dental hygiene, and then I was just more fascinated with the body and the health of the body, and I transitioned and studied dietetics. I have a huge passion for dietetics. Same as the other brother said, I don't like to say it as well, but the Arab Muslim community really lack on their diet and their exercise and things that are healthy for them. I was told that I was supposed to give a topic today, just to speak about a topic, and I considered speaking about fats because there's this misconception that fat is the bad guy and we shouldn't eat fats, and the sugar industry is the one who came up with this so they could, you know, kind of drift the spotlight off of them and demonize fats. So I'm here today. I have a booth in the back. I'm going to be talking to you about good fats, bad fats. Fats are very important for the human body. They are 60%, in our brain is 60% fat. Fat lines all our cells in our body. So we definitely need fat to function, for our brain to function, for memory and proper function of our cells, our immune system. So I'm going to talk to you about the bad oils, good oils. In speaking to some of the women already, they tell me that they use the vegetable oil and the canola oil, and they fry foods. And I told one of the sisters, you shouldn't use the canola oil because it's really unhealthy. Oh, bas zaki, it tastes good. You know, I don't like using the avocado oil. It's not the same. But I think we have to change our mindset and the way we think if we want better health. Put our health as the priority and start making small changes so that we can have better overall health. Yeah, so I'll be in the back and I'll talk more in detail about fats, good fats, bad fats. Thank you.
Brother جتاوي تفضل أخ صالح.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Abdurrahman al-Badri, Abdurrahman al-Jitawi. I'm glad to be here, and it's really an honor, wallahi. In Islam, inshallah, brother in Islam. So it's really a great event. I'm really happy to be here, but we'll make this very quick. I want to change the tone a little bit. How many people here do not understand Arabic? Okay, we have quite a few. So we'll stick with English, inshallah. So I'm a pharmacist by training, but today I will be talking about something very important and very essential. I'll be talking about substance abuse. I think we all know what that is. So let's make this kind of more interactive. I'm going to ask some questions, and please help me with the answers as much as you know, okay? And at the end, inshallah, I will ask 3 questions. At the end, I will ask 3 questions. If you know the answer, you will get a $50 gift certificate from Green Apple Pharmacy. How does that sound? Good? So actually, it's not we're going to give you money, inshallah. It's not a fundraiser. It's a reverse fundraiser, inshallah. Okay, so let's start. When we talk about substance abuse, how many people die in this country because of substance abuse? Can anybody guess, like a number? Brother, raise your voice. 110,000. Every 6 minutes, somebody dies in this country because of substance abuse. So while I'm finishing this talk, somebody somewhere in this country alone will die from substance abuse. When you think about it, it's unbelievable. How about the state of New Jersey? How does that number look like? Do we know how many people die in this state, the state of New Jersey, because of substance abuse? Anyone want to guess? 10,000, 30,000? Okay, every minute? Actually, every 6 hours in this state, somebody dies. So today, 4 people might have died because of substance abuse, right? That's in the state of New Jersey. We are not in the state of New Jersey, are we? We are a part of it. In the Muslim community, let's speak about the Muslim community in New Jersey. We did some triangulation, some statistical analysis to look at our own Muslim community in the state of New Jersey, and we believe there is no real solid data, but based on the triangulation, we believe somebody dies every week in our community because of substance abuse. So it's really an important and very essential topic now with the legalization of marijuana. It's even more urgent, right? So when we say substance abuse, what examples? Anybody has any examples? Heroin, codeine, brother. Fentanyl is a huge one, of course. Prescription medication, exactly. Amphetamines. As a pharmacist, I'm ashamed. No. What's your? Some of the antidepressants can be abused to some extent, create some dependency. Maybe some of them, maybe not all of them. Great, yeah, we are Muslims. Alcohol is a substance that gets abused. It is, and we should not be afraid to say that. Anything else? Manasif? Anything that can harm your body, anything that can harm your body and you can get dependent and used to and you look for it, it can be a potential for abuse. So today I'm going to just speak very quickly about one of them, marijuana. Why marijuana? Why I want to talk about marijuana? It became legal. Can you believe that? Yeah, it is. You can actually go without a prescription and buy it. And here's the problem with marijuana, why it's very important. The New England Journal of Medicine, which is a very important and reputable magazine in the medical field, said that the substance that is most abused in our high schools is marijuana. More than 60% of students in high schools in this country has admitted they have tried marijuana, okay? So what's the big deal? Also, one important thing to remember, brothers, the impact of a substance is not only limited to its pharmacological profile. It's not only about how much it can do instantly. It's also about its widespread use. It's also about its acceptability socially. These are important factors, according to the National Institute of Drug Abuse. So that makes also marijuana even as urgently needed to be educated about as any of the bad guys like cocaine, heroin, and so etc. Now they are trying to let us believe that it's no big deal. It's legal, right? It's medicinal. It can be used in medicine, right? And it's a social justice issue. We're going to make it legal because all those convicts who have been having their lives damaged because of one felony, we have to make it legal to make they can continue with their lives. We are, as Muslims, we believe in second chances. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept tawbah. So yeah, that's fine. I am okay with expunging the felonies for people who have used marijuana or possessed it. That's not the problem, but don't make it legal. Don't bring more people to the problem, okay? We have to educate ourselves, brothers and sisters. I'm gonna finish with some quick bad impacts of marijuana. So why marijuana is bad? Is it harmless? Can anybody tell me what's really substantially bad about marijuana? Anybody can see, but just raise your voice. Go ahead, Hadi. Brain cells, excellent, brother. A gateway drug, wonderful, brother. Exactly, that's a key point. Because according to studies, those who use marijuana are more likely, 6 times to be specific, more likely to end up using hardcore or very bad drugs within 5 years. Much more likely than the people who do not use marijuana. They say it's not a gateway, it is a gateway drug, yes. Any other bad impacts of marijuana, brother? It messes with your dopamine production, your conception of joy, and what you seek to be happy. What else? My hearing, inhibit mitigation, okay, yeah. Motivation, yes, motivation is very important. I'll be honest with you guys, brothers and sisters. There's nothing, not one single system in your body that does not get negatively impacted with marijuana. Chronic bronchitis. What is chronic bronchitis? Your difficulty having your breathing ability and the pain in the bronchitis and all that respiratory system impact is associated highly with the use of marijuana. Limitation in hearing, tendency to commit suicide. But the one thing I want to just emphasize, marijuana can cause a permanent damage if used among teenage children. Up to 8 points, according to the New England Journal of Medicine, people who use marijuana as teenagers are likely to lose how much of their IQ? 8 points. 8 points of your IQ will never come back, according to the studies. I hope, inshallah, it will come, but science says it's actually irreversible. So what does that mean when your IQ declines? as a teenager, your ability to study declines. Your ability to socialize declines. Your ability even to hold a relationship with someone, get married, be happy with the life, decline. Brothers, there is no worse fulfillment to the promise of الشيطان than drug abuse. الشيطان يعدكم الفقر ويأمركم بالفحشاء. Your IQ decline, your ability to make money and to be successful in life declines. Remember that, brothers. So really we need to educate, monitor, and to be very vigilant. I want to finish with that and my 3 questions for the gift cards. I'm going to focus on any high school students here. How many high school students do we have? Middle school, high school. So I'm going to give them priority, inshallah, for the gift card. Is that okay with everyone? Okay. So just name 3 bad effects of marijuana, brother. Anyone? Aside from my sons, who are sick of me talking about this every day. Anyone? Just 3 bad impacts or effects of marijuana, quickly. Cardiovascular, yes, sir. Brain damage, permanent for teenagers. High risk of losing IQ. That's fine. Okay. How much, the second question, how much your IQ declined because of marijuana? 8, everybody wins, mashallah. 25 gift cards to everyone, inshallah. Under your seat, no. The last question, inshallah, what's the best thing we can do about marijuana or drug abuse? 3 things. Educate, monitor, what else? And seek help. Seek help from the authorities. Don't be afraid. Don't demonize each other for something like that. It's a disease. We need to protect ourselves, but when it happens, don't make it more difficult for us or for your brothers and sisters to seek help. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Looks like we started with addiction and we might end up with the same substance abuse and addiction. Sister Abir, if you want to say anything about eyes. 2. And we will break for Salah.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. MashaAllah, I noticed that all of you doctors and specialists and all of that, and I'm just intruder into the medical and this field. I'm working in an optometrist office. We are located in Clifton. I've been there for the last couple of years, that's it. But what I would like to say, what I noticed during these couple of years, I noticed that mostly all the patients that come, they come to the office. If you wanna suggest that, why don't you examine your eye, examine your vision? They say, no, I'm okay. I see everything clearly. It's not like they don't consider that the eyes are part of our body, that we have to keep maintaining them and to keep doing all the exams, just like every organ in our body. It's not just when I'm not seeing anything or I'm having problem or something like this. But vision is very essential that we have to maintain it. It's not nobody like the dentist, like the dental. If I don't have any ache in my mouth, I don't have any problem in my gum or my teeth, I'm not going to the dentist. Although it should be something regular that we have to do it all the time. The eye health, the vision is also the same. Sometimes it's not something about I can't see. Sometimes it's something that happens once a time, but it indicates that there is a problem. I have to take care of it, but I will not know anything about it unless I go to my doctor or to my optometrist or ophthalmologist, whoever taking care of my vision. Like I said, I'm just a newbie in this field, but I noticed that in maybe in our Arabic community, the eyes and the teeth are the last of our interest in maintaining them and keeping them healthy. So maybe that we need to everybody, even our primary doctors, They need to encourage all their patients that this is very important to keep track and maintain the health of them. Thank you. It's a very short message, and thank you very much. I'm honored to be with you. Assalamu alaikum.
I know it is Maghrib time, but we are going to take 1 minute to introduce last 2 minutes. تفضلي. Social. تفضلي. Yeah. Together? All right. So go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Raja. I'm one of the clinicians at Wafa House. Our agency provides different services. My colleagues, Rahma, she's going to talk more about our services. And I'm going to give just a minute for Janine to introduce herself also and talk a little bit.
Sorry, she's going to start. Sorry. Okay, my name is Rahma. I'm a case manager at Wafa House. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the social services that we have at Wafa House. Let me first introduce what Wafa House is for those of you that don't know. It's the leading domestic violence organization in the state of New Jersey for the Middle Eastern and the Muslim community. It's not county specific, so we do serve the entire state of New Jersey, and all of our services are 100% free of charge. Wafa House has a number of different services. One of the main services we offer is case management, so I can talk a little bit about that because I am a case manager. What we do as a case manager is when we receive a client case, and then we monitor, evaluate, and advocate for the client depending on the needs that they have. So for example, a client may come into Wafa House and have like limited income, limited English. So what we would do is we would help them connect to resources that can help them better themselves. So we can help them like find an ESL class, for example, create a resume, find a job, apply to government assistance like food stamps or cash assistance. We can also help them internally through Wafa House. So if they need help, like for example, Wafa House has their own internal services. So we offer a diaper bank every month. We have food vouchers once every 3 months. We have like clothing donations. We do rental assistance once for 1 month or a security deposit. But in order to qualify, we kind of go through a little bit of a process of like financial assistance application. So you would talk to a case manager, either me or one of my colleagues, and we would basically ask some information about your income, your expenses, ask for some supporting documentation. And after that, our team would review the application, and upon approval, you would receive assistance. So that's a little bit about the case management aspect. We also have like counseling. So if you want to talk a little bit about that, Janine.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Janine. So I'm going to talk about our counseling services. So for counseling, we have a couple of different kinds of counseling. We do couples counseling, and we do it through a culturally sensitive lens. So we take into account like, Adat al-Muslimin, like Muslim kind of culture, Middle Eastern culture, and as well as South Asian culture. We do provide the counseling in Arabic and English. And we also have substance abuse counseling, just like as the brother was talking about before. We do have individual counseling, and we do court-mandated counseling as well. And we do see children ages 5 and up. So typically, as of right now, alhamdulillah, our services are all free of charge because we are a nonprofit. We are zakat eligible as well. We do provide, we don't take any form of insurance, anything like that. And we do provide it through telehealth, also as well as in person if that's something that they would prefer. Typically, in general, our intake process is that we would kind of assess the situation, as Rahma mentioned, and then through there, inshallah, if we see them being fit for our services, we would, conduct a further assessment, a biopsychosocial intake, and then from there, inshallah, we would start to provide them with the services that they need. Typically, if we aren't able to take them on as a client, we would find, another solution, or we would work in collaboration. They kind of call it like a wraparound approach or like a holistic approach in order to get the clients the best care that they need. We make sure to make it tailored specifically to the client, just so that we can make sure that in our community especially, we do kind of struggle with the stigma and the attitudes regarding mental health. So we make it in a way where, alhamdulillah, a lot of people benefit from it and they actually recommend it outwards because they feel a sense of security and a sense of comfort through it.
So if you guys have any questions, you guys can refer to us at our tables over there. We have one for mental health and we have one for social services. And we have Rajat here who is a clinician, and we have Rahma who is a case manager. If you guys have any other questions just regarding our services or how to contact us. We are typically reached through our phone. You can take one of our brochures and you can get more information. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.
And something new today, you notice that we have bunnies and we have some, and someone brought them, and Sister Bayan and Sister Priscilla, they volunteered to bring us. They want to tell us a little bit quickly about what's the idea of having those bunnies out there. And Sheikh promised that we are going to be soon praying.
Inshallah. Thank you, Doctor. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Can you hear me? Are you excited? Okay. Okay, so my name is Bayan Rashid. A little bit about my background. So I have bachelor in public health, master's in public health. My concentration is global health and public health nutrition. So the Hubs and Labs started basically as a big organization, or let's say an enterprise project. So what is an enterprise project? Enterprise project is a non-profit organization who is holding a profit project. So I don't want to talk about business and economics, so it's kind of too detailed. Anyway, so the Hubs and Labs started during the pandemic. Me and Mohamed, my husband, who actually started together the project. When we see all the people from our community, even if not our community, also started to work remotely or being turned to be at home for Zoom and for the students in school. So it was difficult for the kids, it was difficult for the adults. And it was a little bit challenging. At that point, we saw that there is an increase of the stress and anxiety level for the community in general. So we came up with a survey, or created a survey. The survey basically started to discuss the anxiety and stress level for the community and see how they are reacting with that during the lockdown in the beginning of the pandemic. With the survey, there is 48% of people who answered a lot of questions, but one of the our focus of these questions were, if you have a pet at home, does that reduce your stress or anxiety level? So 48% of people said yes, that definitely reduced your stress and anxiety level. So a follow-up question was what kind of pet that you're looking for. So, number one is dogs, number two, cats, number three were a lot of different animals, birds, fish, hamsters, bunnies were one of these, number three pets. So we choose actually to work with bunnies, and that basically the project is providing the bunny as emotional support pet to reduce stress and anxiety for people who suffered from these mental health, I don't want to call it issues, but mental health struggles, let's say, during the pandemic. So we do have an option for adoption if anyone interested, but the main project is for providing these animals to mental health projects. We have another option for providing these animals at pet therapy. So Mohamed is have a background in special education, special needs education and social work. Many of you know that Mohamed works in a nonprofit organization as well. So Mohamed go to families who have special need kids, provide these sessions. So, and with a bunny that facilitate the session with a special need kid during these sessions. So if I want to talk a little bit bigger where Hubs and Labs came from, So the bigger organization is called RCD, Research and Community Development. But before I go too deep to research and community development, I just want to introduce Parcella, who thank you so much for coming. And she actually volunteering with Habsan Labs, and she actually have background of special needs and education, so she can talk about that a little bit.
All right, so hi everyone. First of all, there has been so much high quality, professional, and amazing opportunities here. So as an outsider, I just want to give you guys kudos because this is absolutely tremendous, the work that is here and all the knowledge that's here. My name is Priscilla Nunez. Some background, I have a master's in education for the deaf and hard of hearing. I am a teacher for the deaf. I range from students that are profoundly deaf to mild deafness, to severe deafness, to students that are aided and have never learned sign language. I also teach American Sign Language, and I'm an adjunct professor at Middlesex College, so it's really incredible to have experience with the special needs community. My specific focus is with deaf and hard of hearing students, but one thing that I wanted to emphasize that someone else had said is that to take away the stigma of disabilities. How many of us know somebody that has a disability or special needs? Whether it be our family, us, ourselves, right? Special needs has no race, has no language, has no religion, has no specific look. And one thing that I always try to emphasize specifically with my students and the parents of my students is that your child is able, right? And the services that they get and opportunities, especially with bunnies and social and emotional support animals, is that they're able to have an opportunity to be happy, to be able to socialize, to be able to grow and to be successful just like any other abled individual next to them. So being a friend of Hops and Lots has been really awesome. Mine is a black bunny with one ear up and one ear down. Her name is Up Down. But it's been really awesome to be here with you all, and if anyone has any questions or any suspicions or any thoughts of deafness, it would be my honor to talk some more about it, and yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Our last 1 minute presentation, as Muhannad said, from Sister Abir, she promised that it's going to be short. Just introduction about the IVF. 2 minutes.
السلام عليكم. اسمي عبير تركمان. I'm from the Middle East, Palestinian. I used to work. Actually, my first career start with a bachelor degree for teaching, because in the Middle East, everybody want his Dora to be a teacher and nothing else beside that. And then after that, I do the endorsement for RN, and I became RN in the PICU. I love that so much, but then I decided to come over here to do nurse practitioner, and actually I get married and I have my son, so that's why the plan doesn't work that way. So I did my BSN over here as RN, and I'm working with IVF. Well, I'm not going to talk too much about these things because this file, it's too big. But the problem with that is our community, how they're looking, the stigma for people that are doing IVF, people that don't have a kids. They ask them, why you don't have a kids? Actually, I will speak a little bit in Arabic. كل موضوع انك انت تيجي تحكي مع ناس وتجرح هذول الناس بهاي الطريقه، اي شخصين كابلز اللي ما عندهم اولاد او عندهم ولد واحد وان شاء الله تخاويه، اوكي ان شاء الله اخاويه، بس رب العالمين يمكن مش رايد، فما تجرح حدا في كلامك في احساسك. موضوع الاي في اف موضوع كتير صعب، ايموشنال من ناحيه ماديه، كتير مكلف، الادويه نفسها كتير مكلفه. One of the medication 1200s. So the process, it's like together, like couples, but the most important things is the woman that she get the injection. It's like, it's a hormones, it affect her body. She maybe get a little bit fatty and stuff like that. She need the support. And I know a lot of people, my patient is coming like from overseas. They like, the doctor that like treat them, he's like in Will Cornell, And when I'm going to give them, I'm the case manager for them. When I'm going to speak with them and give them the medication, the injection actually, they said it's hard to us. Please don't talk with another patient about that. Like, I know it's a private things, but why you scared? Because it's a shame that you have to have a treatment. It's not a shame to have the treatment. It's okay to have treatment for having IVF. It's okay إنه يكون عندك أطفال أنابيب. It's okay إنك أنت تمشي في هذا البروسيس. لازم نغير شوي المنتاليتي تبعت الكوميونتي تبعتنا في نفس هذا الموضوع، لأنه هذا الموضوع كتير بيوجعني لما أسمع حدا بقول لحدا إنه والله ليش عندك بس يوسف؟ أنا كأم كتير بيسألوني عمري يوسف صار almost 3 سنين، ليش ما عندك ولد تاني؟ هذا مش بإيدي، هذا بإيد رب العالمين. ولما الله بده يرزقني ولد تاني ما راح يسألك ولا يسأل أي حدا، فما تجرحوا مشاعر أي حدا. بوقته كل شيء بيجي. الكابلز اللي ما عندهم أولاد ما عندهم أولاد لأنه الله ما أرزقهم، أو في مشكلة معينة عند واحد من الزوجين، هاي شيء خاص فيهم. بليز بليز كمان مرة، هذا موضوع كتير 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 مهم بالنسبة لإلي، وكتير مهم بالنسبة لإلي أحكي بالعربي عشان أوصل الفكرة. ناس ما ممنوع فينا نتدخل في خصوصياتهن، هاي خصوصياتهن الخاصة، وانت بدهن يجيبوا اولاد ما بدهن يجيبوا اولاد، عندهن مشاكل ما عندهن مشاكل، يمكن هو يقول لك انا ما بدي اجيب اولاد او مو مفكر في هاي المرحلة او بدي اخلص دراستي او اي سبب من الاسباب، بس هو بذاته عم بنجرح لانه هو بده هذا الشيء، وهذا الشيء ما عم بزبط من رب العالمين. فبس بليز ما تجرحوا حدا لانه كتير شيء مهم. اوكي، شكرا لكم.
عدنان مين عدنان؟ تفضل انت.
اوكي، السلام عليكم جايز. ان شاء الله مش حنخلص اليوم الحلو هذا بدون ما نسمع لليوث. يعني نحاول احنا نكون مشكلين شباب بنات عربي انجليزي وكمان كبار وصغار. فعلنا عدنان الخليلي راح يحكي لنا عن مبادرته في المنتل هيلث فري ذا بيرد. ثانك يو عدنان.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Adnan Khalili. I'm 17 years old, so I'm young. I'm one of the youth in this community. And I just want to quickly highlight a really big problem in our community that a lot of people have come up here and spoke about, but I want to narrow the scope a little, and that's mental health for youth. 1 in 5 adolescents actually experience a mental health disorder, and a majority of these youth do not seek help for their disorders, so they don't actually go to therapy or go to a doctor. And why is that? It's because our community especially the Arab community and other cultural communities, any other community as well, but especially our community, they kind of shun mental health disorders. So, for example, myself, when I was a freshman, I was 15 years old, and I was with my mom, and out of nowhere, I had a really big anxiety attack. So I had like a mental health panic attack, basically. And I felt like I couldn't breathe. I felt my heart racing. I felt all of these different symptoms, and it was a horrible experience. And this is the type of thing that when you experience this, you don't tell anybody because you'll feel like they're going to call you a majnoon or crazy, especially in our community. So what I did as a result of this is I started Free the Bird, like a bird in a cage. You want to let them be free. It's a non-profit organization, 501c3. And our goal is to encourage youth to have conversations around their mental health, get them to talk more and more with each other about their issues so that we can destigmatize the problem. It's called mental health stigma. It's like that discrimination against like the certain aspect of yourself, which is mental health. So the main goal that we have is to start more conversations. So inshallah, through things like this, we can get more people to say that I have a mental health issue. Unfortunately, I know a lot of people here who have children or know somebody that also is experiencing anxiety, depression. Actually, depression is one of the leading causes of death in the US. When you'd think automatically that it would be like cardiological problems or heart attack, like all those things. But in reality, it's mental health, it's suicide. And unfortunately, that's the case more and more. So as youth, so I'm 17 only, I'm not really that old, but I step forward and I say I want to help my community by getting other youth like me to start these conversations. And inshallah, we have more people that do the same. Thank you guys. That is it.
باي ذا واي عدنان باليو ان تيم انا وياه بنشتغل هيز ماي كوليج في يونايتد نيشن so we are together with the roster team في كاليفورنيا مع جودلر also we are together with the UNFPA so Adnan he was in our special guest in the last event for the UN so if you go to the LinkedIn for Adnan you will see him it's our ambassador for the UN. So we work together for a project it's called Prepare Young Leaders in Humanitarian Action. So we are together. So I'm proud of you, Adnan. So thank you. So before we finish, just we need to give 1 minute for Dr. Najla or less to clarify for something, but we need to just to remind ourselves, this is our opinion here, so we need to respect our opinions or difference.
Opinion. Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Just want to clarify one thing with all due respect to everyone. And I'm so glad we had talked several times about addiction and substance abuse. I just wanted to clarify that there is a distinction between the use of different substances as recreational, like opiates and marijuana, and the use of those same substances as medication. In our specialty, in gynecology, I use a lot of cannabis as a medication to replace opiates. I don't use opiates because they are addictive, whereas cannabis is not addictive. You build tolerance, but you don't build an addiction. So there is a big difference between recreational cannabis or marijuana and medicational cannabis. So just to clarify the difference in that. Jazakallah khair.
Now, by this, we thank everybody here for attending today. We are going to go for prayer. We would like to thank Sheikhna, Sheikh Mustafa, and if he wants to say anything, make dua for us. Quick, fast one. So we thought of inshallah.
الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه وبعد. حتى لا نطيل على حضراتكم يعني كنت من المفترض أن أكون أول المتحدثين أو أقدم الجميع ولكن آثرت الدكتور ماهر أن يعني يقدم الإخوة جميعا لأنه أهل تخصص لذلك يعني ولكن من باب المشاركة بداية نتقدم بخالص الشكر والامتنان باسمي وباسم إدارة مسجد المصطفى والجالية نتقدم بشكر الجميع على الحضور. نخص بالشكر السادة المشاركين في هذا المشروع وعلى رأسهم أخص بالشكر أخانا مهند فهو صاحب هذه الفكرة وهذا المشروع فجزاه الله عنا خيرا. وأشكر الحاضرين جميعا كل من جاء من كل حدب وصوب للمشاركة في نجاح هذا المشروع. يا إخوة الصحة من أهم النعم التي ينعم الله تبارك وتعالى بها على الإنسان بل هي أفضل نعمة يعطينا الله عز وجل إياها هي نعمة الصحة أفضل نعمة ولذلك الإسلام حرص كل الحرص على الاعتناء بالصحة النفسية والجسدية. ونبينا صلى الله عليه وسلم قال في الحديث نعمتان مغبون فيهما كثير من الناس الصحة والفراغ يعني نعمتين دول الإنسان لا يشعر بهما إلا إذا افتقدهما. الصحة حتى الإنسان لا يشعر بقيمة الصحة أفضل نعمة على الإنسان نعمة الصحة دي أفضل من أي نعمة لا تشعر بها ولا يشعر بهذه النعمة إلا من فقدها. عامل زي كده شفت السيارة انت واخد كل يوم عندك الروتين اليومي بتاعك بتدور السيارة وتروح العمل وترجع وتروح المسجد وتيجي يوم كده تلاقي ايه السيارة الترانزميشن فيها باظ ولا اي حاجة باظت اللي بيحصل بتسك طول النهار متى تحس. فنعمة الصحة تشعر بها متى عندما يفتقدها الإنسان. نسأل الله السلامة والعافية للجميع. فنعمتان مغبون فيهما كثير من الناس الصحة والفراغ ولذلك قالوا قديما الصحة تاج على رؤوس الأصحاء لا يراها إلا من لا يراها إلا المرضى. اللي بيشوف نعمة الصحة وقيمة هذه النعمة من؟ المرضى. الصحة تاج على رؤوس الأصحاء لا يراها إلا المرضى. حتى لو طيل على حضراتكم، أسأل الله عز وجل أن يبارك فيكم جميعا، وأن يبارك في كل المشاركين جميعا، حتى لا ننسى أحدا. تفضل.
بدنا نشكر ونخص بالبورد صراحة أبو يزيد. وينك أبو يزيد؟ أبو يزن، I'm sorry. معلش توقف عشان الكل يشوفك. شكرا لك أبو يزن. أبو حامد، شكرا. أبو هشام وينك؟ لازم نشوفك. معاذ مش موجود. معاذ معنا. الأخ عبد المنعم برضو كمان بالبورد. لا سبورت. أوكي. هدول بالبورد وكمان لازم نشكر الفريق اللي اشتغل معي. أنا مش لحالي. من لا يشكر الناس لا يشكر الله. شكرا للجميع، للبورد. شكرا للدكتور البدري. شكرا أبو عدنان. شكرا إمام، وكذلك أبو بشار، الأخ عبد المنعم، الجتاوي، وكذلك أبو الوليد. احنا كلياتنا كنا مع بعض في هذا الايفنت. وشيء ثاني حلو انه الناس كانت بتشوف انه الاطفال ازعجت، بس بالعكس هذا احلى شيء في هذا الايفنت، انه الاطفال هم بارت من هذا الايفنت. ولما نحكي كوميونتي هيلث داي، الاطفال هم جزء من هذا الكوميونتي. فاطلعوا على الموضوع بطريقه حلوه. اللي بيشوف اللايف ستريم هو هذا نكهه المكان، انه يكون في اطفال. احنا مش هنحبسهم في مكان. عندنا البانيز، عندنا الاماكن الموجوده نسيت الكلمة. Okay. Specialize في any field is there. So if anyone he needs a question, you can go to the table. وشكرا أبو حامد كمان مرة على الفود والسناكس. Thank you. وحامد شكرا لك على اللايف ستريم واللوجيستيك. شكر خاص للسيدات. بدون السيدات ما كانش الايفنت حينجح، لأنه أنتم اللي أصحاب الإعلان. فشكرا لكم خاص، يعني شكر خاص باسمي واسم المسجد والجميع. شكرا لكم. شكرا دكتور البدري.
جزاكم الله خيرا. نسأل الله تعالى أن يجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما، وتفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما. وإن شاء الله تعالى سنؤذن أذان المغرب. في وقت الأذان من يريد أن يتوضأ وأن يجدد وضوءه فليفعل إن شاء الله تبارك وتعالى. جزاكم الله خيرا وبارك الله فيكم جميعا. الله أكبر، الله أكبر، الله أكبر، الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة، حي على الصلاة، حي على الفلاح، حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر، الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله. استووا تراصوا اعتدلوا. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. سنة من قد أرسلنا قبلك من رسلنا ولا تجد لسنتنا تحويلا. أقم الصلاة لدلوك الشمس إلى غسق الليل وقرآن الفجر. إن قرآن الفجر كان مشهودا. إن قرآن الفجر كان مشهودا. ومن الليل فتهجد به نافلة لك عسى أن يبعثك ربك مقاما محمودا. وقل رب أدخلني مدخل صدق وأخرجني مخرج صدق واجعلني من لدنك سلطانا نصيرا. واجعل لي من لدنك سلطانا نصيرا. واجعل لي من لدنك سلطانا نصيرا. وقل جاء الحق وزهق الباطل إن الباطل كان زهوقا. وننزل من القرآن ما هو شفاء ورحمة للمؤمنين ولا يزيد الظالمين إلا خسارا. الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. وننزل من القرآن ما هو شفاء ورحمة للمؤمنين. هو شفاء ورحمة للمؤمنين ولا يزيد الظالمين إلا خسارا. وإذا أنعمنا على الإنسان أعرض ونأى بجانبه وإذا مسه الشر كان يئوسا. قل كل يعمل على شاكلته فربكم أعلم بمن هو أهدى سبيلا. ويسألونك عن الروح قل الروح من أمر ربي وما أوتيتم من العلم إلا قليلا. الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. لو في أي أحد عنده أسئلة الإخوة المتخصصين إن شاء الله يردوا عليه، موجودين على الطاولات، وفي إخوة في كافي وكوكيز إن شاء الله يعني. جزاكم الله خير. شاي بقى وما شابه ذلك. جزاكم الله خير. مش عارف. اللي عنده أي سؤال، أي أخت أو أي أخ عنده سؤال، الإخوة المشاركين موجودين على الطاولات يعني إن شاء الله، منتظرينهم يعني إن شاء الله. إن شاء الله يا إخوة يعني الشباب اللي عنده شباب يعني أولاد وكده مدعوين بكرة معنا على الفطار، على الإفطار بعد صلاة الفجر يعني، حلقة القرآن بنجلس فيها ونتعلم أحكام التلاوة، وبعد ذلك إيه نعد فطورا وناكل إن شاء الله. الشباب اليوث يعني يشارك معنا إن شاء الله. جزاكم الله خيرا.